Hello, everyone. Are we good? Can you hear me? And am I in focus? Those are the questions I have for you today. Everyone, I apologize. Last couple times, there's been little issues. One time the sound wasn't right. Last time when Jenny was on, I swear to God, I focused on her, but then I looked at the footage and I thought it wasn't even done processing it because this isn't possible. It could be this blurry. And it was. Just now I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, it's good to go. And then Rocco was like, it's blurry. And then I looked, it was fucking blurry. I don't know. So, 1 second. Pick up Slayer from art class. She's not going to art class today. Don't worry, everyone. We're not going to worry. So I have a new system. I know you're dying to know what the system is. I am taking Jamie Foxx and I put it in my seat and then I focus on that. So if it's ever out of focus, you can blame him. All right, now we got the behind the scenes out of the way. We can start talking about this week's album, number 364, Talking Heads, More Songs About Buildings and Food. What a title. I had never listened to a Talking Heads album before. I've heard, a couple of their songs. The one song of theirs that I heard on this album was the cover, Take Me to the River, which I think we probably all heard that cover before, or the original version. But everything else was new to me. So yeah, what did I think? What did you think? Is the question. I liked it. I really like this album. I was surprised, honestly. I guess I didn't know what to expect. The Talking Heads to me always seemed like an 80s band. I don't know why. I thought maybe it has an 80s vibe to it, to me. I did some research on this album, listened to it probably 10 times, just, driving around or whatever I was doing. And it's weird. It kind of gave me a Strokes vibe, and not the way like the music like sounds, but like I just kind of felt, I don't know, something about it was gave me a Strokes thing, and I have no idea why that is. The Talking Heads, if we want to get into this band real quick, I listened to an interview with their keyboardist, whose name is, wait, I have it right. Nope, I had it right here. Jerry Harrison. Jerry Harrison, interesting character. And I know more about him because I listened to an interview with him. But he was going to Harvard. He was in a band called the Modern Lovers, which I've never heard of, but the way they were acting made it seem like it was a big deal. I think that band may have been inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So clearly it's a band that people know. Then went back to Harvard and was studying architecture, heard a Talking Heads single, and went to New York from Harvard to meet the band and try to like get his way into the band because he liked it so much. They needed a keyboard, synthesizer, piano player, and so they had the like little meeting with him. They said like, all right, you're cool, you can be in our band, but we want to like, see what you can do, come over and we'll rehearse. So he had to try to get to Boston, from Boston to New York to do his tryout, and couldn't fit his keyboard into the van. So he showed up with a guitar, and they were like, we were looking for a keyboard player. He's like, I can play keyboard too, but let's just work on this with the guitar. They liked him. They had him join the band, and he dropped out of Harvard again, the second time, which is crazy. It's not the Talking Heads, it's Talking Heads, which it doesn't really matter. People get so antsy about that kind of thing. Talking Heads is an artsy band. You could definitely tell that they to me, they seemed like New York, like really into like Andy Warhol type stuff is what I kind of vibed. Even like, the album cover or the album artwork looks a little like artsy. The name more songs about buildings and food. Like I don't know, something about it seems very like, I don't want to say snobby, but artsy for sure. They were touring around New York doing like the CGB. Can I say that club right? CGBG. That's right. CGB. Yeah. They're doing that. They, I guess, went on a European tour with the Ramones, which I guess in Europe, like the sounds of New York were becoming like a big thing. That was like people were excited about like what was coming out of New York. And so they had the Talking Heads and the Ramones go on tour together, even though they were drastically different sounding. The Ramones, the Ramones are the Ramones. Like, I don't know. Like the Talking Heads and Ramones, I've never thought they would have been on the same bill together. They toured around together. That guy I was talking about, Jerry Harrison, was talking about how they were every person in the bands were given $5 a day per diem for food and whatever. But they said, well, don't worry, we're going to provide you dinner at the venues. But the dinner was always like slices of bread and cheese, like nothing. And so the tour manager who was running both things, pulled the Talking Heads aside and said, look, the Ramones, they'll eat anything. They don't give a fuck. You guys have higher taste. I'm going to give you $500 extra to, get like food you want. So I thought that was a little fun anecdote. Like the Ramones don't give a fuck. They're rat people. They don't care. Yeah. Anyways. Okay. So what I think is also cool about this band is that they have a female bass guitar player who doesn't really do any of the singing. She's just part of the band, and apparently that was revolutionary for the time. Like a lot of girls were inspired just seeing like, oh, there's a girl who is not like a lead singer. She's just like a part of the band. It's not a big deal. And that became a big deal to them because they just saw someone they could see themselves in, and she inspired a lot of people. So I was into that. Okay, let's get into the album itself. This is going to be a shorter episode. When Jenny's on, she's got a lot to say about Frank Sinatra. Garrett talking about Los Angeles. This is me talking about Talking Heads, and I just found out about this band. Okay, let's see. Okay. First off, I think I liked all the songs. There's not one song that I didn't really like. The album's not that long, I guess. Well, no, take it back. It's 40. How funny. It's 41 minutes, whereas last week with that Frank Sinatra, that was 40 minutes, felt like 5 years. That was the slowest, longest album I've ever listened to. And I didn't feel that way with this one. It kind of went fast. It was like, new wave, punky. I was into it. Thank You for Sending Me an Angel, I read, was about the lead singer, David Bryan, and Byrne. David Byrne. Thanks, Garrett. He wrote that about having a kid. And the angel, I guess, is his son. So I'm told. But who knows in these kind of things. Good song. Without Love. I mean, honestly, I could go through each thing, all good songs. What I really want to talk about, though, and what I need everyone to comment on, please let me know what you think. The song I'm Not in Love sounds so much to me like the Fix's God damn it. Garrett, what was that song the Fix did? Fuck. One thing leads to another. One thing leads to another. I got it. I thought that the Talking Heads did that song. I mean, I knew that wasn't a Talking Heads song. I didn't know who the Fix was, but I thought, oh, maybe the Talking Heads did it first and the Fix was a cover. Like, I didn't know Take Me to the River wasn't a Talking Heads song. I didn't realize that was an Al Green song. So I found out doing this, I found out there's a lot of covers that I didn't realize were covers. So I thought the way that started, am I crazy? That sounds just like that beginning of that song. I was waiting for them to start singing the lyrics I knew, but then it went into something else. It was wild to me. So yeah, let me just say, I mean, Brian Eno produced this. Obviously, great producer. Brian Eno produced 4 other albums, and the Talking Heads, they broke up in, I think, 88. This was their second album, and I feel like most of like the songs I knew were on their first album, weird enough. So yeah, let me think if there's anything else I wanted to talk about with this album. There wasn't that much. I liked it. Did you like it? I think, like, would I listen to Talking Heads every day? Probably not, but like I don't know. Like I definitely see like this band being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame makes sense. Being in this book makes sense. You know, like I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So let's just call it that. I know this is shorter, you know, but whatever. Who cares? Let's get into the song of the week, 364, Box of Rain by Grateful Dead. I will go on record and say this is the absolute first Grateful Dead song I've ever listened to. Grateful Dead is something to me that is like, I do not get what this is. I don't want to even get invested in it. I see the shirts. I see people get so obsessed about it. And I don't know. I went to a Padres game last season, and it was Grateful Dead night. And then they had a concert beforehand of like a Grateful Dead tribute band or cover band or whatever playing. And like the vibe is exactly what you would imagine. It was just like people in like Birkenstock sandals and like just like vibing and like, you know, like getting fucking wasted. What I did want though, they had a Grateful Dead giveaway shirt that you could have bought ahead of time, which I didn't get. I thought it was a free giveaway. I got excited, but it was like a brown and yellow tie-dye shirt with a Grateful Dead skull with a Padres logo in the middle of it. It was sick. But alas, I didn't get one. So Box of Rain, Grateful Dead. I don't know what I expected with the Grateful Dead. I kind of, I guess, thought it'd be like Violent Femmes a little bit. It just seemed like run-of-the-mill, you know, Midwest country rock a little bit. Like I don't get it. I even like thought like, okay, well, this is on the list. Okay, sure. But why? Like, what's the biggest Grateful Dead song? Like, what's the one that's like I've heard, I just don't realize it's Grateful Dead. You know, when I first came across the Beatles, I guess that was when Beatles Rock Band came out. And we were talking to Rocco, and it's like I had no idea that was a Beatles song, and I kept happening. Like I didn't know that was also a Beatles song. I've heard "Here Comes the Sun" 10,000 times. Didn't know that was Beatles or whatever. I don't know if it was that one, but that's an example. So, what Grateful Dead song have I heard 1,000 times and just didn't realize it was them? Turns out none of them. Not one. The biggest song on iTunes was Truckin'. No fucking clue. Listen to the song. I don't get it. Is it because I've never done drugs? Like, I don't get the Grateful Dead. To me, like, oh, this could really offend you because people like for some reason make this like a lifestyle. Like Grateful Dead is like, like that is like who they identify as like a Deadhead. But it just seems like so in the middle of just like nothing music that like it's so forgettable to me. I don't know. This song was it was fine. Like there's nothing wrong with the song, but it's just like I listened to it probably. Again, like 10 times. I made a playlist of just like all the Talking Head songs, and I added this to the back end of it, just so I would listen to all of the same amount. I couldn't even begin to tell you how that song goes. It's so forgettable. It was just like, all right, yeah, there it was. You know, like when we did I Put a Spell on You by Screaming Jay Hawkins, or even that Allman Brothers song Whipping Post. Like that, I was like, okay, this is a song. Fuck yeah, this is going, you know, like, and this is just like, all right. Okay, you know, like here it is, another Box of Rain song. Like I don't know. So yeah, not for me. Again, I'm gonna give it 2.5 pieces of vinyl because not offensive, not great, just right in the middle. Couldn't be more mid for me. The Talking Heads, I'm gonna give it a 4. I really liked it. I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it. So Talking Heads, More songs about buildings and food. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see what Rolling Stone has to say about it. Let's see. Okay. For their second record, oops. Well, sorry about that. For their second record, Talking Heads found the ideal producer, Brian Eno. Their trilogy of albums with him made the band's reputation. David Byrne? Thank God for Garrett. David Byrne sputters over the twitchy rhythms of Artists Only and Thank You for Sending Me an Angel while crooning out the big country as a ballad about his feeling lost in America. The Heads cover Al Green's Take Me to the River, a Memphis R&B hit just a year old at the time, and they made it feel like some kind of ancient prayer. See, how interesting. That seems to be a thing in the 70s where they would cover a song that was out for just a year. Like, I feel like that's more infrequent. Like, that doesn't happen as often now. I remember a while ago, I guess, but like the White Stripes covered Walking with a Ghost by Tegan and Sara. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's like a 2 years old song, and they covered that. That's, I guess, isn't that crazy, because people do it apparently all the time. And it's weird because a lot of times I'm hearing like, oh, the song that I knew was the cover of the song that came out a year before it. So that song isn't getting the love. Okay. There we go. We did it. Talking Heads. Now let's see what we have next. I'm hoping for like a rock album. I feel like I haven't gotten like, I don't know, like a heavier album. So let's see. Will we get it? Will we not? I don't know. We have number 20. Whoa. Look at me. Okay. All the way down to 20. Seen some good albums I'm passing, so we'll see. Oh, shit. We got Kid A by Radiohead, which is a good one. That's a good one. Fun fact about Radiohead, they got their name from the Talking Heads. So this all ties in together perfectly. Huh. What are the odds? Kid A by Radiohead came out in 2000. Number 20 of all time. I wonder if I've listened to all of Kid A. I think I have, but I don't know. It's been a while. I'm not sure which songs are on that one, but I think it's a good one. And then for the song, Dancing on My Own by Robyn. Robyn. I don't know that one. Dancing on My Own by Robyn. All right. That's a pretty high number for me. It came out in 2010. I've never even heard of this. Huh. All right. Everyone, listen to Radiohead, Kid A, and listen to Dancing on My Own by Robyn. And we'll see you next week. Hey, thanks for coming. I had a heck of a fun time. Hope you did too. And as always, keep it real.